All right, what's going on, you guys? Brian back here with another recap video. This one for this week's episode of SmackDown on Fox. Of course, this was the go-home show for the SmackDown side of this Thursday's WWE Super Showdown, which takes place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, this Thursday on the WWE Network. So let's just get right into it. Of course, Goldberg, who is going to be challenging for the Universal Championship at that event coming up Thursday against the Fiend Bray Wyatt. He made an appearance live in the arena, not via satellite, but live in the arena, and I'll get into what he did in just a moment. But we started off the show, looking at my notes here. We started off the show with an in-ring promo from the Usos, who they talked about Miz and Morrison and their comments that they made. They would then be joined by their tag team partners, The New Day, and this would be the 8-man tag that they had set up or advertised. It was the Usos and The New Day versus The Miz and Morrison, and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And of course, Miz and Morrison have a huge opportunity this Thursday at Super Showdown when they challenge the New Day for the Tag Team Championships. Really good match. I mean, it was what it was. The baby faces got the advantage in the beginning. Then the heels, the heel team of Roode, Ziggler, Miz, and Morrison got the advantage a little bit later. Then it all broke down. People were going for different moves. But the Usos would win over, I believe they pinned Robert Roode in this matchup to pick up the victory for their team. So the Usos looking to put themselves back in title contention. They picked up the win tonight in the 8-man tag. However, every tag team on SmackDown is looking forward to that tag title match between the New Day and Miz and Morrison to see who was going to come out on top of that one on Thursday night or on Thursday at Super Showdown. Next up, we had some segments. I think in between. I think one of them was Daniel Bryan and Heath Slater and Drew Gulak, which was a way of setting up a one-on-one match between Slater and Bryan for a little bit later. We had the second ever Symphony of Destruction match. It was Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura along with the Great Liberator, Sami Zayn, in their corner, taking on Elias and the Intercontinental Champion Braun Strowman. Of course, in this one, there were no disqualifications, no countouts, falls count anywhere, and their weapons were musical instruments like a piano, guitars. There was a table. There were tables set up, a gong, a bunch of different instruments that could be used. Strowman picked up the win for his team when he hit the power slam on the piano on Nakamura, or he hit Nakamura with the power slam onto the piano that was set up at ringside. So Strowman and Elias picked up the win in that one. We had a Moment of Bliss segment with Alexa Bliss and her special guests, the now confirmed 2020 WWE Hall of Fame inductees, the Bella Twins, who came out to an ovation because they were in their hometown of Phoenix, or I should say Glendale, Arizona, outside of Phoenix. So they came out to a huge reaction, a lot of congratulatory, them talking about the Hall of Fame being inducted, how that's going to feel. Also about the fact that they're both pregnant a week and a half in between. Bunch of other stuff. They hope that everybody in Phoenix Phoenix is able to attend in Tampa for WrestleMania for the Hall of Fame. Bunch of other stuff. That was pretty much it for this segment. So the rumors of the Bellas going in this year to the Hall of Fame turned out to be true. So, it is what it is. We had Daniel Bryan. He came out along with his and Bree's daughter Birdie to celebrate and congratulate both the Bella twins on going into the Hall of Fame. Daniel Bryan was in action. He took on Heath Slater. This was a rematch of a few weeks ago where Daniel Bryan beat Heath Slater, but this time Heath Slater got a little bit of advice from Drew Gulak, who was at ringside on commentary. Apparently, he had taught Slater about some holes in Daniel Bryan's offense, and there was one time during this match that Slater almost won, but Daniel Bryan with the running knee, and that was all that kept Slater down for the 3 count. We had Naomi taking on Carmella. The winner would go on to this Thursday at Super Showdown to challenge Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And Naomi won, defeating Carmella with a split leg moonsault. So it will be Naomi challenging Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship with her victory over Carmella tonight on SmackDown. They also, during the show, kept bringing up about the whole storyline between Otis, Mandy Rose, and Dolph Ziggler. Of course, last week for Valentine's Day, Mandy was waiting for Otis to show up. Otis, when he was getting ready, got a text from thinking it was from Mandy, saying that she was gonna be running a little late, so he had time to prepare. Then, when Mandy was waiting for Otis at the restaurant, Dolph Ziggler showed up. This happened last week on Valentine's Day. And Otis came in and saw them sitting at the table. He got upset. He had a bouquet of flowers he was going to give her, and he dropped them and left. On this week's episode, Tucker, Otis's tag team partner in Heavy Machinery, he confronted Mandy about what happened last week, and she sounded like she was confused by when Tucker asked her, you sent him a text saying you were going to be late, and she was like, what text? So that kind of throws something in there that maybe Dolph sent him that text sent Otis that text about her Mandy being late, because then a little bit later on, Mandy would be waiting for her ride, but when Dolph was leaving the building as well, he saw her and he was like, what are you doing? And she's waiting for her ride, and he basically said to her that, my car is right outside. You can ride with me, not realizing that hiding behind a bunch of the production cases was Otis. And when they left, Otis walked from behind there and was upset. So obviously this story is going to continue. Then we move on. We also heard from Sheamus, who is going to be entering the Elimination Chamber, obviously for a shot at the Universal Championship. And then in the main event segment of the night, it was Goldberg who came out, talked about his match coming up at Super Showdown against The Fiend for the Universal Championship. He would be interrupted by Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse. And Bray was like, you know what? I have someone else that's been dying to meet you. Then all of a sudden, lights go out, lights come back on. The Fiend is standing in the ring. Him and Goldberg are standing there. Goldberg hits him with a spear. And then the Fiend, they play up like the Fiend is hurt. However, when Goldberg tells him to stand back up, he's going to go do it again. But the lights go out, lights come back on. Fiend is gone, nowhere to be seen. And then all of a sudden you hear the laughter in the over the intercom of Bray Wyatt laughing, and that is it. The stage is set for this Thursday's Universal Championship match. Goldberg challenging The Fiend. Will Goldberg be able to stop The Fiend and become Universal Champion again? We have to wait and see. But overall, this episode of SmackDown this week I thought was a little better than last week. Not as many segments, more matches. That was my take from it. So, with that being said, this has been my SmackDown recap for tonight's episode. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.